Start of this segment in the precious metals markets. Palladium's blistering rally has shown no sign yet of cooling off. The precious metal advanced to the highest ever on Friday as it climbed for an unprecedented 16th day. Sister metal platinum fell. Now, palladium prices are now barreling towards $2,000 an ounce as mining disruptions in major producers South Africa add to supply concerns, tightening a market already hobbled by a persistent deficit. The precious metal is at an all-time high amid supply concerns. Palladium is headed for a 7th quarterly climb as demand for the metal used in auto catalysts are being strengthened by tighter emissions rule, with Citigroup Incorporated forecasting it could hit $2,500 an ounce next year. In South Africa, rolling blackouts have hurt miners' operations after state utility Eskom Holdings announced record power cuts. In the meantime, South Africans are set to face more power cuts as state power utility Eskom says it will cut up to 2,000 megawatts of power from the national grid on Friday as generating units continue to perform at low levels of reliability. Well, let's bring in our correspondent there, Katleho Lehodi, to wrap up the market week for us. Hello, Katleho, good afternoon. Well, the power situation has disrupted a lot of activities for companies, particularly the mining companies. How bad is it really?
A very good afternoon to you. As we speak, a lot of companies are counting costs following the rolling blackouts that have been playing out here in South Africa. Earlier in the week, President Cyril Ramaphosa convened a meeting with Ministers of Public Enterprises Pravin Gordhan, Minister of Energy Gwede Mantashe, and the Eskom board, just to get a feeling of what is happening or how dire is the power situation playing out here in South Africa. And I must say the President was briefed that wet temperatures, aging infrastructure, well, cable theft, and at the least sabotage is what is to be blamed for what has been happening here at home. And the President coming out to apologize to companies and to consumers and businesses alike amid all of the power cuts that have been playing out, with companies feeling the pinch there. Many of them not having any of it, as many have lost, most of their income due to what has been happening here on the ground. The manufacturing sector, I must just say, is one of the sectors that have been heavily affected by what has been happening. Mining companies, as you rightly stated, had to cut up, production just to make way for the load shedding that has been happening on the ground. And this can never be good for any economy, especially an economy like ours that has been struggling for quite some time. Also, companies like MTN are coming out to say that, they also have been affected by this, because when the electricity goes off, seemingly services get disrupted and they've had to make ends meet in this regard. Many businesses are coming up to say that, the government must just come through to invite businesses to sit down with Eskom and try to find solutions to what has been happening on the ground, because when the load shedding happens and the president goes and have a meeting with the Eskom board and not invite businesses that are directly affected by this, then it can't be a good news for businesses here at home.
Okay, let's look at the market direction. How has the rand and the equities, performed so far this week, considering the power situations affecting companies there?
The economy has really received a low blow from all of that has been happening, especially, the manufacturing sector, as I've stated. The news, of course, comes at a sad time when investor confidence into the country is also dwindling, and the rand has not been doing very well. Gold production dipped, I must say, to negative 7%, which saw the rand feeling the pinch also in this regard. We must also remember that South Africa's manufacturing sector has been decreasing month to month from June of this month, and this has been forecast at negative 1.9%. But looking at the JSE, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and how the rand has been trading, the rand is trading at 14.39 to the US dollar, 19.27 to the British pound, and 16.10 to the euro.
Aside from the power situation, which other events shaped the week in South Africa?
Well, the country is not in a good condition, especially when we look at state-owned enterprises like the South African Airways that has been struggling for quite some time now. Looking at PRASA, the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, looking at Transnet that has also been struggling, and now Eskom as well that has come forth with its own challenges that have filtered down to the consumers and businesses alike. But another thing that I must mention that has been of very significance is the floods that have taken place here in South Africa. The floods have seemingly also affected the markets, with the president and government coming forward with emergency evacuation plans to assist those people that have been affected by this. Many businesses in these areas that have been impacted by the floods have also come through to say that they need assistance because seemingly they've lost businesses from the floods that have been happening here at home. And also we saw Eskom also coming forth to tell the president that some of their coals at the power stations that are supposed to generate electricity were wet from the floods that have been taking place here at home, and that has added more stress to the economy that is ailing.
What is the outlook for next week?
Well, from the coming weekend here at home, we will see the festive season kick off in earnest. And according to economists, there's a period whereby spending is expected to go up. Are we expecting at least the markets to be injected with a 200 billion rand from the cost spending looking at this festive season own. And also looking at this, economists are warning that this is just a short term. We expecting that this will come as a welcome relief to the economy that has been struggling for some time. And what we could also expect is that for the rand to be impacted by the U.S.-China tariffs that is expected to kick off on the 15th of December. That is expected to impact positively to the rand that has not been doing well. And we must also just remain optimistic, as the president told us this week, that we can expect load shedding, or power cuts, not to happen from at least the 17th of December to the 13th of January next year. This a welcome relief as well for the economy that has not been doing well, especially for businesses that have been feeling the pinch from the rotational load shedding. What we can say is just to remain optimistic that, looking forward to the coming week and looking forward to a festive season. It will be a festive season that is positive, not only for the economy, but also for South Africans that have been heavily affected by the rolling blackout.
Absolutely, Katleho. Optimism is the way to go. Thank you for those updates. Let's continue to follow up on those developments. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much, Anita.
And finally, Angola's parliament has approved a 2020 budget, which estimates the average oil price at $55 a barrel. The projection is a conservative strategy to project the country oil market volatility movements are unfavorable. Angola's real GDP growth was predicted to be 1.8% and inflation 24%. And that's a wrap on the program for today and, of course, the week. Thank you for watching. I'm Chimezi Obi Iwawu.